Hey, faction hermanas and hermanos. Uncle Snussie here. Thought I would do something a little different. Thought I would talk about the upcoming event before it happens. Usually I do my first video after they release all of the details of the event and kind of give my thoughts and tips and tricks on the event. But I thought maybe I would do it a day ahead of time because I noticed that sometimes I may post something in chat or on Discord, and a couple of people missed it, right? So they, I say, hey, be sure you do this or don't do that. And then people say, damn, I wish I had known that ahead of time. So I thought I would do a video, put it out there, and if you watch it and you get some good ideas out of it, then great. If not, oh well. Moving on. Anyway, so we have the nWo Ransacks Wrestlemania event. It's going to go on for about 2 weeks. It is basically like a month-long event, but it's condensed down into a much shorter time period. Most month-long events, you get a free wrestler at the beginning of the event, and then your development of that wrestler helps contribute to your ability to progress in the event as it moves along. So in this particular case, like I said, it's going to be a 2-week-long event. The primary wrestler that you're going to get at the very beginning, if you even so much as increase the talent of any wrestler in your roster 1 point, is the nWo Bret Hart. Watch the videos of him. He seems okay. He does a lot of random stuff, throws a lot of random stuff up on the board, and so anytime you're more random as opposed to being able to be in control and kind of pick what you're doing, it leads to sort of unpredictable results, right? You may have one match where things line up for you perfectly and you knock somebody out really quick, and then you'll have another match where just nothing seems to be working and it takes a really long time, right? So that's kind of the downside of a random style person. Haven't watched enough, obviously haven't used them at all, so I don't know where to exactly put him, if he's a tier 3 style, not a tier 1 or tier 2. I don't think at this point from what I've seen, but until you get a chance to kind of mess around with him a little bit, you just don't know. But he's going to help with the contest, and that's going to contribute to the possibility of grabbing nWo Big Show, the Showboat. From what I've seen of him, he is basically Hall of Fame Booker T killer. And what I mean by that is he's got a move that every single turn he steals the power gems off the board for himself. So that's not just Booker T, but that's probably what he was designed for, right? It's a typical pattern with Scopely. Put out a wrestler that's really strong that makes people scared, and then put out a wrestler whose sole purpose is to defeat that wrestler, right? So he's going to work great against any other power gem style people, Ricky the Dragon, Steamboat, Striker, Sting. He's going to be able to rob them of those gems. And that's only one move set. He has another move set where he freezes the bottom 5 rows of the board. And it surprisingly effective because the computer doesn't change the way they play for the fact that the bottom 5 rows of the board are frozen. And so what do I mean by that? Well, if the computer is going to create gems or change the color of gems or do choose gem moves or any of that kind of stuff, they can't change any frozen gem. So they basically waste their moves trying to do things on frozen gems. He also has a massive heal move, which maxed out, I think, heals 60,000 of the health. Doesn't do any damage, just a heal move. And then he can also turn 2 rows completely purple. So looks pretty effective. Looks kind of like a defensive character. He has a submission hold. He has those bottom 5 row freeze. He has the health, the healing move, and he has the power gem steal, right? So he looks like a showdown defense type, maybe somebody you use to attack somebody like Booker T. So from a defensive standpoint, he might be a tier 1. He's not going to I don't think he's going to run over anybody in a high rate of speed and finish him off in 1 or 2 turns, but he can definitely grind out wins and preserve health. So there's also going to be other characters that will be released along the way as the weeks go along. It is an event that's going to have ingots in it. It's actually going to have 2 different tiers of ingots. So kind of reminds me a bit of the Wendy Richter event. So the schedule is, it's going to start tomorrow at March 16th at noon Pacific time. So for me, that's 2 p.m. For those on the East Coast, that's 3 p.m. We're going to have a kickoff talent up event. Your typical talent up event, right? Increase the talent of your roster by 1, earns you a point. Evolve, enhance, or fuse 2-star, 3-star, and 4-star superstars. And then spend tokens. And then finally, there's one little bonus piece down here. I haven't seen what the overall number is you're trying to reach for the event, so I don't know how significant a 50,000 one-time bonus for a showdown match with Kevin Nash is. But that is there, and that's kind of different. That's kind of unique for a talent up. As I've mentioned in the past, when doing other videos, what I try to do, if I'm going to be preparing myself for a potential month-long event that has a talent up, is I try to line up my wrestlers to be ready to evolve or enhance in the month prior, getting ready for this event. This event is kind of a waste for using fuse ups, because spending tokens to increase your wrestlers is a big part of your score, right? You're going to be doing a ton of 2-star silver tokens, and there's going to be a lot of these 3-star, right? So as you're increasing the strength of evolving and enhancing wrestlers, and you're spending their tokens to do so, that's a massive portion of the contribution to your score, right? So if you're evolving, enhancing, and fusing up, you're only getting this piece here, and you're getting none of this here. I much prefer to use my fuse ups during coin and Evo events to maybe close the gap on getting an extra milestone or something like that in one of those events. I don't typically use those in these talent up events. I'm actually, in this particular case, I'm not lined up real well. I've been throwing a lot of resources at wrestlers specific to events. So I don't have a bunch of people lined up and ready to go to take the top tier in this event. So I don't know how how well I'm going to do in the WrestleMania event. Not because I didn't care or because I didn't want to try, but just because of other things I was doing maybe take away from my ability to do this event very well. I am pretty loaded up on coin thanks to this nWo event. There was a ton of opportunity to grab coin in that event, so I have done so. So I don't like to necessarily spend my coin and spend my TP during the talent up to get ready to do this. I'd much rather spend my coin and TP during coin and TP events to prepare for this event. But, you know, I have been known to get a wrestler or two ready if that's the difference between me getting something I want off the rewards or not. Yeah, so that's that. It's going to last for 3 days. It's a 3-day event, so don't feel like you have to scramble in day one to get it done. So you have 3 days to continue to increase the talent of your roster to get credit. So potential rewards that you get for that: 3-star bronze poster of Bret the Hitman Hart in nWo 2000. These getting the free wrestler up to a higher star level right away can be useful, because there may be events that require him to be a certain strength in order to participate in the event. So if you have the opportunity, I'm imagining that's probably the topmost tier of the talent up event is going to be this 3-star bronze poster, right? That 1-star bronze poster you're going to get at the very bottom. I'm thinking you're going to get that one probably at the very top, right? You're also going to get potentially 300 shards of Big Show, 300 of the Evo tokens for Bret Hart, potential for 3 5-star silver tokens, which are used to take the wrestlers from 4-star silver to 4-star gold, a bunch of diamonds, a bunch of headliner chips, and then a bunch of the turnbuckles for the faction feud perks. I usually ignore the leaderboard because I'm probably not going to be anywhere necessarily on it. So, 4-star bronze Bret Hart. Yeah, that's probably the topmost tier, which will probably never be me. So, all right. So then we have the solo contest. These are the particular, kind of the usual stuff. You're going to collect the ingots and the tours along the way. That's going to get you points. As you increase the talent of this new Bret Hart, you're going to get points for that. And then as you spend the turnbuckles for the perks, you're going to get points for that as well. That's going to lead to the ability to grab some of these chests. And inside the chests, there's going to be a variety of different rewards. And I'm sure when you get to the top, it looks like Big Show is not going to be the prize for the topmost milestone in the solo event. Some months it's that way. Some months, like, you could get Booker T, for example. You could get the Zombie Rock at the topmost tier. So some months you get the coveted wrestler, if you will, from getting to the highest tier of the solo contest. This particular case, it looks like it's more likely going to be a fancy strap and a fancy skill plate here, which is going to reduce your opponent's ability to do gem damage by 50% for a turn. So that's probably going to be the topmost tier. So your ability to get Big Show, the showboat, is going to come down to collecting shards along the way, as opposed to just getting him at the end of the event. Let's see what else we have. Again, ignoring the leaderboard. Unless there's an unannounced thing that's not on the calendar yet, there will be no coin up or TP prior to the talent up as an opportunity to get some credit before you get to the talent up. There will also, even though the talent up lasts for 3 days, there's nothing on the calendar as far as a coin or a TP event during the talent up, so no opportunity to sort of double dip on that. There have been cases of that in the past, but it's pretty rare. All right, so here's one of the important tips or thoughts prior to going into the event. If you're going to take a really serious shot at this, up to the point of actually thinking about spending some money, if you buy a Bret Hart Jumpstart pack, meaning jump him from a 1-star bronze that you get from the talent up to, some other tier, do that before you put any resources into him, right? Do not take him from 1-star bronze to 1-star silver, 1-star silver to 1-star gold before buying those packs. So I don't know what's going to be out there. I don't know if there's going to be a $5 pack, a $20 pack. I don't know. I don't know what's going to be out there. I don't know what it's going to look like. But the idea is you don't want to spend your tokens and then buy one of those Jumpstart packs. You have wasted a lot of progress that way. Because let's just say, for example, I don't know, there's a 2-star bronze version of them for $20 or $5 or whatever, right? That is right there 375 tokens. So if you took them up to a certain level and then you bought a pack to get them up a few more levels, you will have basically wasted all of the tokens that you spent. So those 375 tokens right there is enough to get you up these 2 levels right here, right? So the 375 you would have spent to go from 1-star bronze up to this level here, 2-star bronze, you now have all of those tokens that you can then use on this one and this one. And I mean, that's by design. If you look at the math of this stuff, you'll see that if you jump to a certain level, all of the tokens you saved seem to add up to the tokens you need, right, for the next couple of levels, right? So once you cross the 4-star bronze threshold, then it's pretty easy to get the rest of the way, right? But you it says here in the first week you could get 1,000 free Bret Hart tokens through a variety of different events that are going on, right? So 1,000 tokens is not enough to even get you from here to here, if I'm doing my eyeball math correctly. So having a jump start and getting 1,000 tokens probably sets you up to be able to do the rest of this and get all the way to 4-star gold. But that's something you got to decide at the beginning. Don't get to a certain point and then be like, I didn't get as far as I wanted. I'm going to go ahead and spend money and, jump me up a tier or two. Try to make that decision ahead of time, whether you're going to go in and spend money on getting a jumpstart pack for him or not. So do that at the beginning. Don't wait until later, until you've already evolved him some before getting the pack. All right. So we have the typical limited time tours that'll pop up throughout the week, right? And that's the opportunity to get the ingots, get the keys, get the turnbuckles. And on that note, in case you didn't figure out already from there being turnbuckle credit, perks are on, right? So there should be tour perks, blitz perks, showdown perks, feud perks. There should be all the perks that should be available for these 2 weeks. So here's the initial tours that we can expect during the first week. An open one that you can do with whoever, the VIP that you can use any of the VIP characters. There's a Bret Hart one here that you, in order to do the side nodes, right, you have the middle row of the tour, and then there's a little node that comes off to the side that's a tag match, and this is the person you're going to need in order to tag with the nWo Bret Hart. So you need Steve Austin 316, the striker version. So Bret Hart Hitman version, which is the purple trickster. Bret Hart Excellent of Execution, which is the green technician. Booker T, you got a couple of different choices there, right? If you have the Hall of Fame one, awesome. If not, there's the I think there's a tech version of him, and then there's also a showboat version of Booker T. So any of those I would imagine should be available. Big Show the Giant is the red powerhouse version of Big Show. No side node requirement here. And then if you have Kevin Nash Big Kev, which is the striker, he needs to be paired up also with a Booker T as well for his tour. Here's an important note. Bret Hart nWo 2000 tour will run from Monday through Friday every week. So why is that important? Well, most of these tours, once they open up, they stay open for the entire contest, and then they disappear once the entire contest for the month is over. These Bret Hart ones will only stay up for a week. So I imagine if it's like the Wendy Richter one, the way you get the fancy ingots, the upper tier, gold level ingots or whatever they're going to call it, is through the tours using the new free Bret Hart character, right? So you get the new Bret Hart, you start loading them up right away, get them as strong as you can right away. There'll be a tour, and on that tour is where you'll be able to collect those ingots. That's usually how that goes. And then you have the week basically to get that done. If you don't want to talent him up during the talent up, I believe there's a coin and Evo contest that will hit on the 20th if you want to get some credit for any coin that you spend on him, as opposed to during the talent up. However, pick your poison there, right? Because you can get credit in both the talent up and the solo contest by improving him during the talent up, versus you can get credit in the coin and Evo and the solo contest by doing it during the coin and Evo contest. So take your pick there, really. All right, well, here we go. So here's the regular ingots, WrestleMania ingots, and then here's the gold WrestleMania ingots, and then the keys, right? So these gold ones, like I said, those are likely going to be in the tour for Bret Hart. There will be probably other opportunities to get them as well, but that'll probably be the primary place to get them. I remember during the Wendy Richter event, there were some comments from some people that were like, damn, how'd you end up with so many of the gold ingots? Well, from the jump, I was working on Wendy Richter, right? I took her all the way to a maxed out 4-star gold. And so I was cleaning up on our tours. Now that event was a 3-week or a 4-week event, right? So there were 3 or 4 of those tours. So I was just motoring through, and she was already had a really strong, right? So I was just mowing through those and getting those ingots, right? So if you want those prizes and you need those ingots, start working on that Bret Hart right away, right from the jump. I mean, the tour will be there for 5 days. So when I say right from the jump, I just mean don't wait until the very, very end of the contest after 2 weeks to start developing that wrestler. Something kind of different that we're doing is apparently we're going to have flash tours. So tours that are going to pop up, be around for 24 hours, and then, hiccuping a lot. Be around for 24 hours and then go away. I haven't seen anything that talks about who's actually going to be the people you need to use on these tours, because these are the rewards on the tour. So I wouldn't think you would get the rewards for the same people you're going to use. So I don't know necessarily who are going to be the required wrestlers for these tours, but these will be an opportunity to quickly, grab some nice stuff. I did notice this veteran mode blitz ticket with a super high value, whatever that means, plus shards for rare nWo superstars. But looks like they're going to have a special blitz ticket, and those are only going to be available in these flash tours. So here's the month-long contest for us as a group, the entire faction. Pretty typical stuff. Every time we get a key, every time we spend a key, we earn points as a faction, as a group, towards these faction rewards, right? We tend to do fairly well in these events, usually in the top 100. So we have an opportunity to get a decent amount of ingots, and then also some perk turnbuckles, universal and feud turnbuckles, and then also evolution tokens for the new Bret Hart. All right, and then it appears we're going to have a blitz once a week, every week for 2 weeks. This blitz has 2 blitz tiers that look like they're going to use regular tickets, which is good because I can't even remember the last time we had a blitz where you could actually use the blitz tickets that you had. So it looks like there are going to be a couple of blitzes in which you can just use ordinary blitz tickets on. And then here's that veteran blitz. It's going to use that veteran blitz ticket that appears like it's going to come from these flash events that occur, flash tours. So the veteran blitz. Here's an interesting note for the veteran blitz. It's going to have a talent range. So what does that mean? That means if the roster you take in your blitz, if you add them all up and it's greater than 31,000 talent, you will get a safe that has 100 shards of the new Big Show in it, plus any of the normal items that would be in the safe if you had a blitz roster less than 31,000. So what does that translate to? To me, that translates to, if you want shards for Big Show, you're probably going to be spending a lot of health packs. Either that, or maybe the people that you can take on this blitz are the kind, maybe a Zombie Austin or a Rated R Edge, or, the kinds of people that can heal themselves and you can grind out a blitz without, taking a bunch of health damage. Otherwise, have a lot of health packs ready to go for that one. And that's if you want to get these shards of Big Show from the veteran blitz. The scoring system here: win a beginner blitz, win a beginner blitz with Bret Hart, advanced with Bret Hart, veteran with Bret Hart, spin diamonds, spin loot coins. So, interesting thing about the way this is worded. I'll want to see how it's worded when we actually get into the actual blitz itself, because it doesn't say beat the boss with Bret Hart, but it also doesn't say beat every match with Bret Hart. So winning the blitz, does that mean Bret Hart's just on your roster? Does that mean you had to do every match with Bret Hart? Does this mean you just had to defeat the boss with Bret Hart? So we'll have to see exactly. To me, that somebody might look at that and go, well, it's nutsy. That means you got to win every match with Bret Hart. But I just feel like it was worded different in the past. So have to see. I might do a beginner blitz and play around with it a bit and see how I get the bonus score. Unless it's more clearly described in the actual event when it occurs. So rewards there. Powerhouse strap. nWo bag that could have Kevin Nash or Mr. Perfect or someone else. More shards for Bret Hart. Medals, rare and epic. And more turnbuckles. Although they stopped using the word turnbuckle. Maybe they're getting away from that. But we'll see. All right, and then here's, kind of the run-of-the-mill prize wall that we're used to. It is a split prize wall, like I said, so you'll have ordinary WrestleMania ingots that you can use to get stuff off of here, and then you'll need those gold WrestleMania ingots to grab stuff off of the Elite and the Champion, all right? And again, most likely the way you get those is through defeating through using the new Bret Hart on the new tours. Some of the interesting stuff that they are highlighting that will be available probably in that gold level is 100 shards of the Big Show. I don't know if he's going to be a wrestler that's going to need 2,000 shards in order to unlock. We'll have to wait and see. It's feeling that way based on the shard levels they're offering up, that it probably is a 2,000 shard to unlock him. And then there is the new gear for Big Kev, Outsider, and the Fiend. Somewhere along in here, I can't remember where, but I saw something about being able to get Big Kev's gear another way. So it might be, you could end up with both Scott Hall and Big Kev gear if you had the right amount of those premium gold ingots and wanted to spend it on gear. I think the Big Kev gear was an additional column break gem. And then Scott Hall's gear, I think, destroyed additional black gems when doing a black gem move, destroy move. Kind of like his, a little better. I don't know. I just feel like one extra column break's not lighting the world on fire, but, maybe so. Maybe so. And that's really it, and then there's just some pictures of some loopholes and stuff. So, yeah, sorry, that was about 30 minutes of me rambling on, but hopefully there's some useful stuff in there for those that are willing to kind of stick through me rambling on. Maybe got some tips or advice out of that. And the contest begins tomorrow. Good luck, everybody. Catch you next time. Bye.